Very, very happy. How ni Donkon, everybody was saying, is
Mane.
Sabally coming?
Mane.
As far as I know, he's coming.
Sabally.
I'm a man of my word.
What
And the man
happened?
will not
What
run away
happened?
from
What happened to the electricity where you are? Let them know that.
Well, yes, I'm not home, you know, so
Okay.
I'm not in control of the lights here. I'm at a seaside restaurant called Swiss Tavern.
Call what?
A seaside restaurant called Swiss Tavern.
Okay.
Seaside restaurant.
Yes.
Bro, but then life is good then.
It's more than good. It's Alhamdulillah, mashallah.
But
It's
Sabali,
splendid.
we thank you immensely, definitely. I sent you a voice and you told me, yes, immediately, 2 seconds, that you're coming. You're going to be in the provinces, but you will definitely be in the greater Banjul area in the early evenings, and you will definitely dialed in. And we thank you again for coming on this platform.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I mean, the last time you were here, Sabali, I remember you used to tease me and said, this platform is for the barrow, by the barrow.
Yes.
At least now we have something in common, I guess.
Well, you know, it looks like your editorial policy has shifted a bit, so
It has to
I'll
kind of
have to find a new name.
so since then, though, you have switched from the UDP to the NPP.
Yes.
Most people would think when you are with the UDP, you had a louder megaphone. You were the campaign manager. You were loved by the cousins in the diaspora.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, I mean, one would think, I mean, you were much more, every journalist would want to talk to Sabally. You know, you were the go-to guy.
Yes.
It's a nice place to be. All of a sudden, you made this switch. Why this switch, Sabally? Why this switch? Honestly, why this switch?
Well, with the risk of addressing a redundant question, I would make an attempt to explain what I have explained for more than 10 months now, that I've been in the opposition, done my bit there. We wanted to uproot this NPP government. We failed in 2021. Prior to 2021 and after 2021, the calls, the appeals, the engagements had never ceased to get me to come and contribute towards the nation building process on a platform that happens to be in charge of the ship of state, that is the NPP government under President Adam Barrow. After some point, and considering 360 degrees, all the angles, I thought it was the right thing to come and join a system that I was criticizing and see what I could do to contribute to make it better.
So that was the reason for the switch.
Yes.
What do you say to people that are very cynical and they're saying Gambia Easywood and the switch is nothing but motivated by Sabally and Sabally alone, is a question of survival, opportunistic tendencies? Are these people, what say you to them? How do you convince cynics like that?
Well, you know, if you are in a position that Allah has blessed me to be in, where even if you sneeze, people have an opinion on why you sneeze, you just have to allow the people to say what they want to say. But I know that survival has never been a problem for me. My father died when I was 3 years old in the streets of Banjul, left me with a mother who didn't go to school, you know, took care of me selling porridge at number 84 Old Perseverance Street. Came to Lamin, sold tomato lohati and jahatu, and, you know, if that old woman with no education can bring me up this far, State University, been all around the world, build networks, build human beings who are in influential positions all around the world. Survival should not be a problem for Momodu Sabah, and it is not. So that question sits aside as statements by people who just want to say what they want to say because they could not process my move. And it's okay if people are not okay with that. Some of them have since gotten over it. I know one of my grandfathers just called me this evening. He snubbed me for 6 months since I left UDP. So people have had to deal with this in their own way. Some of them was about insulting me, attacking me, slandering me. So I know the void I created. So if people react negatively and throw shades at me, it's okay. I did it for the Gambia. I said that before, I'm saying it again. The decision was not against any institution or individual. It was for the Gambia. Or if I may swipe your platform's name, it was for the people, in the interest of the people.
Pop Samba.
Sabally,
Yes.
good to have you here, my brother. How are you and the family?
Wanyil Masa volume, please. Okay, Coach, I was not hearing you quite clear.
Now, Mane, good to have you here. How are you and the family?
Uh-huh. Follow, man, my regente suma connection. Somebody's saying I should share it on WhatsApp, but let me take care of the connections first.
All right, Sabally, let me
All right, Coach.
ask you. Yeah, thank you for coming to the For the People by the People show again.
Thanks
Now
for
you
having me.
are appointed as an advisor to the President of the Republic of the Gambia.
Yes.
When you appeared before the Janneh Commission,
Yes.
you were asked a question about some of the dealings of Jammeh.
Mm-hmm.
And your response was that at the time you did not have the courage to give the president the advice that you wanted to give him. I'm just
No, I never,
paraphrasing.
I never said that, Coach. You are misquoting me.
What did you say?
I said many things over many days and many weeks. You cannot just summarize that in one terse statement. I will not even react to that.
But that was a question that you gave. That was an answer that you gave to a question. So,
Well, those questions came back and forth, and I give, I give a
can you allow me to ask the question, please? I'm going somewhere.
carry on.
Now that you are the advisor to the president.
One of the advisors.
Well, you are an advisor to the president.
Yes.
What lessons have you learned from your previous job in the previous administration that would guide you to make sure that you will give the president the best advice possible that is not only in the interest of the president, but in the greater interest of Gambians?
Well, 1,001 lessons, and I would not, because when you, as my great lawyer, the learned Antuman Gay would say, if you bring these omnibus questions, one has to be careful how one answers, because my answers might assume away that some of your assumptions are right. So 1,001 lessons have been learned. I never said that I did not give them a good advice. I never said that. We advised him as best as we could under the circumstances. Having said that, and given the lessons that have been learned during the transition and now, of course, I'm in a better position to advise the president now than I would have been if I didn't have that experience. So it goes without saying that the experience, the knowledge, the missteps are all a blessing in disguise. And I have to say this. I've advised Jame before. I'm now in a position to advise Barrow. I think my job is easier knowing the person that Barrow is and knowing the team that's around the president and knowing the lessons that we have all learned, including you, the activists and the critics, all the lessons we've all learned. I remember a particular setting at State House recently. When a particular issue came up, I'm not even sure how far I can go into this, but awards were supposed to be granted to Gambians. And at least one or two of us served in the Yame administration. And we all agreed that, look, it should not be like the past. We should not just be giving national awards to people who are only supporting the ruling party. The award should be given to every Gambian, regardless of your political affiliation. And they should be granted to Gambians who've done something for the Gambia, even
If I mean the lies, them not it.
Yeah. Sorry, you still around, right?
I'm here. I'm all present and accounted for. Just
Okay.
gotta listen to the flow, man.
I hear you. I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure.
So I hope you got me before the internet went down. It's raining heavily here.
Yeah, we did get a good chunk of it.
Did
Osama,
you
go
get
ahead.
me or you did not?
Now we got you.
We got you. We
Okay.
got you.
So you, because you were talking about that the awards, and you were advising them that they should be giving it to people that are not necessarily only supporters of the president.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Sabally, I was watching a video, and this was you were clad in your yellow. This was the victory celebration, the UDP victory celebration. I think it was after the local government elections,
Yes.
and you described the country in a very interesting way.
Hmm.
That our women are dying in the hospitals, the kids are hopeless, they don't have jobs, they would rather leave the country. And the president, pretty much accused him of Jude Yaj because it was in Wolof. And what has changed from then? Do we still see a country where our women are still dying in the hospitals? Because this was less than a year ago, where also youths are hopeless, they don't have jobs, they are still trying to leave the country, and the president is engaged in Jude Yaj and Guyani. What has changed? Has there been
Well,
any changes, or is it still the same?
a lot has changed, has been changing, and continues to change. You know, it's easier to sit on the sidelines of a game or a Gambia. You are from Banjul, you know that this suhulu mo gina yomba danga toxic Gambia be the right dom be ganya game be. My first answer to Musa Jeng, I think partly covers this. I've been criticizing a system. I've been called in to come and serve and make it better. That's what I am doing. Since I have come in also, it has given me a better vantage point to see some of the positive things that have been going on in this government that I was not able to see because of the vantage point at the time standing from outside of the game. So when it comes to youth employment, for instance. Recently, the president went on an industrial tour, and I was privileged to join him. From the factories making suitcases, the biscuit factories, the iron factories, the dairy farms, the poultries, all over the country, I've seen government policy encouraging and nurturing industrialization slowly but surely. And I saw young Gambians being employed by these companies. In terms of health, I saw health centers in Sali, Kenya, in Tumanna, in Kise Majau, brand new with the latest possible equipment you can find. I've gone to RBTH. The level of renovation at that place is mind boggling for somebody like me, who was National Budget Director and aware of our budget constraints, the more than 1,000 bed hospital at Farato, and 1,001 other things, and add to that my own input on where to push the ship of state, and knowing the commitment of His Excellency the President, I think things are changing for the better. Is it perfect? No, but we're going to make it better by the day, inshallah.
Saria.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Sabally, welcome back to For the People and By the People show. So I'm actually transitioning, so bear with me here. My first question is what Musa asked you, and you left UDP, you came to NPP, and in your response, you said some people were responding, they are angry because you left a void. I would like you to explain to us what kind of void did you left? And do you think that void could not be replaceable?
Um, okay, who's the questioner, by the way? I'm not getting you clear. Is it Sariang?
Yes.
So So I got the first part of the question, the void. The second part is you asking me about the replacement, right?
But I can repeat the question. I'm driving,
No,
so sorry
it's
about.
okay. I got the first part. You asked me what void did I leave. The second part is what I need.
Yes. Do you think that voice is now replaceable?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, look, if not for anything else, if where I were in UDP today, the party leader and secretary general's visit to America will be trending all over social media because I know how to handle social media. They have people in that executive who are supposed to do that. They will never ever do it because they don't even want people to hear about their own party leader because they are too eager to replace that party leader. That's on the social media. Yesterday I was in Yamina Jareng. By this time, almost 10 villages, all their young people, including some UDP youths, named a whole tournament after me. Now that glitz and glamour goes to NPP. If I were in UDP, it would be with them. There are gamos happen right now. I am very close to these religious houses, and they love and adore me. When I wore yellow, that yellow rubbed on that particular connection. Now that connection is gray. A whole UDP delegation met me somewhere. I will not go into the details. Few days back, where they found me, they wished that I was in UDP. So the void is there at so many levels. I don't wanna go into too much detail in that. I don't wanna be like rubbing salt into an injury. In terms of the replacement, you cannot compare stone with gold. That's all I can say.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Hold on. Give me a chance to finish. Sabali, for some of us, we've been sympathetic for UDP since its inception.
You are UDP, my
So
brother.
I mean,
Just admit it.
no, hold on a second. Give me a chance. I'm on the road. I don't want this to be disconnected. So,
Okay.
I understand what you're saying, but it's more of an self-adulation. What I'm trying to say is
Call it
the
what you may.
void,
You
the
asked the
impact.
question, I answered it, and I
No,
answered
no,
it
no,
right.
no,
No
no.
apology.
The impact is what would you point to in terms of messaging and policy when you were a campaign manager for UDP that you brought into the party that the party can live today? That's what I'm asking.
You see, the fact that you cannot call their current campaign manager to this platform is my answer because he can't even speak this language. Thank you.
Well, I don't think that is very significant. On that, no. And I want somebody. I want us to be, it's a give and take. When we call you on the platform, we
Carry
want to
on. I'm
have a
ready for your questions, bro. You wouldn't want it the way you want.
serious
You wouldn't have
conversation.
it the
My
way you want it.
question to you is, what have you written in terms of policy or in terms of things that UDP could benefit? And also,
Carry on. I'm listening.
well, when you stop laughing, then I will answer I will ask you my
Well, if your
question.
question stop being funny, I'll stop laughing.
No, it's not funny. I don't want this to be a personality thing. The question is we are all adults. You gotta listen to what we are asking you. Because if not, I'm gonna drop and have Musa Gang and Co continue to
That would be
interview you.
fine.
Because
I'm having a good time with Musa Gang and
I
Co.
want
If you drop up,
I
it's
want us to
fine.
be respectful of each other and ask questions, right? So my question to you is, what
Yes.
have you brought? Because you're saying it would be all over social media and all that. The announcement is all over social media. They met in Parliament. They had their Congress in Atlanta, and they're gonna have one in Seattle. Friendly.
Looks like your line is no longer clear.
Did you hear my question, or I have to repeat it again? I'm sorry, I'm driving, man. Oh, Musa, did you hear my
Yeah.
question? You can relate to him because I'm driving right now.
No. Just try again. Are you Sarian, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me? No, I didn't hear. What was said
No,
again?
no, go ahead and ask the question again.
Okay, so Sabali, my question to you is you referenced about the UDP Congress in the United States in particular. And you said, I'll quote you, that it has been attracting attention on social media. Having been Sabally's campaign manager, it could have gotten much attention than it has today. My question to you is, what makes you draw to such a conclusion?
So maybe you should text your questions to Coach or Musa, because I'm not getting you clear.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Basically, what he's saying, Sabally, is
Yes.
you did mention in your response that the Secretary General of the party, UDP, they're out here in the US training. And if you were a campaign manager and knowing social media and how it works, you would have really pushed it out there. And the only reason why these people are not pushing it is because they are basically, basically wanting to replace the Secretary General.
Yes, absolutely. So, everybody who understands social media and knows what's going on social media, there are only few people who can compete Mamadou Sabally, because if I sneeze on Gambian social media, the whole country catches cold. I mean, it's sometimes about the swag, the picture qualities and everything. To be honest, I believe if you compare the UDP party leader's previous visit to the diaspora and this one, if you are honest, you'll know that there's a drop. The Atlanta thing definitely could have been better. We all know that. I don't want to go deep into that. But let me get to the other part he was trying to mention in terms of policy. Look, even if I answer his questions, he takes offense because he said it's self-adulation or whatever. Where do you find a young man who's had experience both as a central banker and a national budget director, both on the monetary and fiscal policy ends, and then become Secretary General, head of the civil service? I mean, these things you don't even get at a university. I had this. Which party would not want to have me in your midst? Which party would not want to have me next to your party leader? Because even the lunchtime chat is a policy discussion forum. UDP has never addressed an economic policy issue whilst I was there without inviting me. It was usually me, Lamin Mane, Larry Sise, Lamin Komma, and Amadou Sane, who would sit down together, analyze the national budget, and come up with prescription and other policy issues. So, I mean, there is so much that I put in there, but then again, catch 22, if I don't answer, he'll think I did nothing. If I answer, he said I'm praising myself. He already accused me of that. But it is what it is. It's not that easy to have somebody with my background. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. You ask the question, I will answer it. I know policy, not just theory, but also practice.
So,
yeah. Musa, go ahead. Thank you, Sabally, for an attempt to answer my question. Appreciate
you. My pleasure. I'm sorry for praising myself because you asked for it.
So, Sabally.
Yes.
I'm going to follow up on that question because there's something that you said. I mean, I've been following your occurrences, and it is very clear, even your insinuation, replacing of the Secretary General, that since you left the UDP, you don't really criticize the UDP. You have a tendency of going after Talib Bensouda. Some person, like myself, an observer, would say, Maduki, come all of you there were, dafa dore Talib yari yayam, in other words. What is about him?
Musa, this would not have been the first time you would have asked this question.
No, but let me ask
so
it.
I don't
had an opportunity to answer it. I'm just saying, since you left the UDP, the crux of the question is, even when you criticize UDP, you're only going after Talib Bensouda. How do you know Talib Bensouda? What do you know about him that we don't know? Do you think he's ready to be president? Do you think he has what it takes? What is your assessment?
Let
me ask the question. You answer the way you want to answer it.
Your line of questioning is actually betraying your inclinations. And this just brings back to mind your most controversial interview with my sister, Rohi Malik Low. I think for some reason you want Talib to be the flag bearer, which is okay. It's your undemocratic right, because it's undemocratic for you to jump into UDP politics anyway. I'm sure Wakar Sidiki Jame will agree with me on this one.
I'm
But
sure,
let's let that slide. Let me answer your
let's
question.
just go back to the question. What I'm saying is, I've
Let
heard
me answer your
when you
question.
criticize UDP, you don't criticize the party. You criticize the man. And maybe you know something that we don't know. That is why I'm giving you an opportunity to tell us a little bit about the man, that you were in the same
Well,
party.
your premise is wrong, actually. I've criticized UDP before, but I singled out Talib for criticism, and that's not because of whatever his mother did or did not do, because
Okay.
I don't believe in vicarious atonement. You cannot punish somebody for his or her father's for his or her father's or mother's sins. So what happens in UDP is this is a party that I know very well.
Mm-hmm.
I spent just a few years there, but I don't think there are more than a dozen people who know and understand that party better than me. But I know also the role that Talib Bensouda has been playing in that party, and I know, because I've said this before, I'm so connected with the grassroots of this party. Do you know what happened in Jareng? It's the youth of Jareng who adopted me as father when I was in UDP. They brought back Kolanos to renew that honor, and they named a whole tournament after me. So I know these people, and I know how they care about the party and how they suffer for that party. Then you have one newcomer who came and was crowned by this party, but he's using that privilege to divide that party because of his sole personal interest. That is one. Two, I know also that this young man is one of the most toxic elements in Gambian politics. He would at night say all the nice things while he's behind a lot of the people that are insulting people within that party and outside that party. We know a woman who went after Yankuba Dabo as chairman of Brikama Area Council, insulting him and practically, virtually, physically threatening him. And we know that woman's motivations and connections and financial remuneration is coming from that end. So I know this guy, and I know that there are certain elements within our society who would not utter a word against him. This is somebody who was just recently accused of using state funds, lavishing council funds to go and pick a passport. But practically everybody who is the loudest megaphone in terms of criticizing and holding public officials to account are quiet. I'm trying to fill that void partially because we got a nation to build and we have got to hold each other accountable. We cannot afford to mislead the young people of this country. They need a voice that would counter and re-establish a proper narrative in this country. These are the motivations.
But Sabally, all I hear is I was expecting you questioning the man's ability. All I hear is
Well,
basically
you are
hold on,
assuming he
hold
has
on,
ability.
hold on.
Which ability do I have to discuss? He
I
just
mean,
painted
the guy has
the
been
wet field and put in some
guy,
flowers. Where is the ability?
the guy has been male. The guy has been male.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
he's been re-elected. All I'm saying is, all I'm
Thanks to the
hearing.
emotions of the UDP voters, because they vote for yellow, they don't vote for candidates in the local government elections. UDP votes for yellow. It's about nothing that he achieved.
So, and again, Dr. Ray, how is, okay, my follow-up question is, you know Gambian politics very well. You were in Jaring, like you said. How do you see the 2026 elections? How is it looking? Are there any, I mean, there are a lot of people, there are a lot of questions that are out there. You're there, you're talking, you said you're dealing with the grassroots. What are we looking at come 2026?
I'll tell you for free, it's not going to be an easy election because there are so many factors at play. And like I say, even a month is a long time in politics. But knowing what I know of both the opposition and the ruling party, because I've touched both sides, and seeing the quantum of development milestones that President Barrow has achieved, and his policy thoughts and his plans, I know President Barrow is going to wow Gambians with unprecedented development, infrastructure, that's both physical, energy, and digital infrastructure. The opportunities he's going to create for young people that will make President Barrow and the NPP unbeatable in 2026. Yes, it might not be an easy ride, but when the whistle is blown at the 90th minute, we'll be celebrating Barrow. Inshallah, bi'idnillah.
Of Samba.
Sabally,
Yes.
like you said, you've been in the UDP for a while,
Yes.
and you're
Yes.
very instrumental. Nobody can deny that. And Now you are with Barrow, somebody that you've criticized heavily
Yes.
for how they run that government. There was a time when an article was written about the Ministry of Trade. I believe it was trying to subvent some of the businesses. And your response to that was that you call it, is it the economic cabal or mafia are out now to destroy the country. Now they are in fact trying to get businesses out of, send businesses out of business, pretty much. And this was in 2002. Now these are the same people that you're working with. Are you now of the same age?
Did you say 2002?
2022. You know what I'm saying. When you're old, you make some of these things. But not as old as Musa Dendo. But now you're working with these people. Do you still believe that what entails in the Barrow government is still the economic mafia of the Barrow administration? That's what you used to call it. What has changed? Because it's the same people that are still in the same government, running the same policies and programs. There is not a significant shift economically since you joined the NPP to date. So are you still maintaining that the economy of the Gambia is run by a bunch of economic mafias or mafias? And if so, were you wrong in your characterization when you said that while you were in the opposition?
Well, all I know is I am not working with any mafia. I'm working with President Barrow and his government. Coach, what we know for sure is whether it's in Gambia or Senegal or even the United States of America, whether you have the military-industrial complex, businesses will always try to game the system. It is up to the government to stand its ground and to make sure that the people get the most out of their tax money. I have come in, I have seen that is happening. The businesses will try to get what they want. We on the side of government, at least as advisors, will advise to make sure that President Barrow continues his democratization of the use of resources by building roads, hospitals, schools, and water facilities for the poor taxpayer. That is what I am doing.
And another question, and this is not to get you, it's not a gotcha question. You are a public figure. You know, you have a Demba. So Demba, of course, when Tay comes, we'll ask you. So that we'll have
go
this,
ahead. I'm ready for your questions. You don't need any
caveat. This reconciliation of positions. Now, there was some time I was listening to you. I read what you write. I listen to what you say and all that stuff. And you were making an argument about corruption. And I think when I listened to you, I was shaking my head in agreement that it's not only enough to have institutions, but it must be followed by the political will to fight it. Otherwise, it's not going to go anywhere. This may not have been your exact words, but they are very close to what you were alluding to. Do you believe, as it stands, because our country, the way that it has been run from independence to date, is been ravaged by misappropriation of funds, corruption, and all these things. Do you believe that President Barrow has demonstrated the political will to fight corruption as it should be? And if not, what would you advise him to do to make sure that this big problem is taken care of head on?
Okay, Coach, I'm actually glad that you raised this issue. And please don't have any qualms in asking any question. I'm free.
Oh, no, I will not.
See, because you're using too many caveats. I'm good to go. So this issue of corruption, it's been here, it's still here. And corruption is not easy to fight. I remember, even when I was in the opposition, when people were touting this anti-corruption commission as if it's a magic wand that would just come and solve these problems, I never spoke about it because I think this is one of the most difficult problems to resolve in any country. Now, coming to your question, and that's why, by the way, that's my preamble, we should never ever look at simplistic solutions to such a complex problem. I believe President Barrow has the political will to battle corruption. Is it going to be easy? No. I've seen him make certain moves, prosecutions, a particular case that is being prosecuted. I knew President Barrow was working hard to send a signal to show public officials that we are not going to condone this. If you do wrong, we will go after you. I know that there are current cases ongoing, investigations, which he has said that once the investigation is concluded, the right steps will be taken. But court, this is difficult because one of those cases, I found somebody being prosecuted. I know this young man. I've worked with him. I know he cannot hurt a fly. But I cannot even say no to this particular prosecution because the government needs to set examples and the accused person just needs to go and clear his name. I know it's difficult for him, it's difficult for his family, but I'm not even saying a word to defend this person, even though I believe that the person may not be culpable. These are steps being taken. I think these cases of prosecuting people who are suspected to be involved in corruption should continue. And I would advise the president to continue on this lane.
Okay, so let me let the others go. I may not be here much longer, but I'll try
All
to.
right. So I got my last question, and I'm gonna after that, I will listen in, Mr. Sabally. So Sabally, thank you very much. My second round of questions. So I think I wanted to follow up on what Musa asked you about policy and question, and in your answer, you highlighted yellow UDP votes for yellow,
Yes, that's
right?
true.
And I want to take you on this one though, because considering you are the campaign manager,
Yes.
you touting from cartoon to Koina, talk about everything that is great by UDP. And in addition, what do you mean? What do you mean UDP votes for yellow? I want you to enlighten the viewers. What do you mean by that?
Okay, thank you for the question, by the way. So in every party, you have a core base. Just like in America, the red and blue divide, we know it, then the two parties go after the swing voters. So when I go into action as campaign manager, I'm trying to get that middle level that can swing anyway to get them through policy discussion for them to come. But I know, for instance, wallahi, if ML Fati the warrior is listening to this, he would be a testimony. I went to Kiyang Kolior as campaign manager. You know what the Imam told me? I think it's Mahdi Fati. Why are you even coming here to tell us about UDP? We are UDP. We'll always vote yellow. In fact, the more you come here, the more we will distrust you. I hope you get the message. So there's a core part of UDP, regardless of what policy is, they will vote for yellow. And I am saying this is what people like Talib Bensouda and the other mayors should know, that they are not mayor because of their PR or anything or what they do or don't do. There's a core base, especially in an area of KM where you have a whole Badibu area called Bijanker there, UDP, they'll always vote UDP, regardless of whether it's Talib or Yankuba or even Musa Jeng. If Musa Jeng, I swear by God, if Musa Jeng nominates UDP today for KM, Musa Jeng will win for UDP because that base will always vote yellow. So it's the rest that we go after by policy people like Coach. I'll talk to Coach about policy and Musa Jeng. Hopefully they'll vote for us, and I know that's a wild goose chase.
What do you mean that the wild goose chase?
Exactly what I said.
So Sabali, what is different? What is different in your role today? And you mentioned that you went to villages. What have you
Yes.
been talking about? I mean, what is different from the current party that you align yourself with? What has Barrow
Well,
done
okay,
that you
now
would say? Oh, hold on a second. Let me finish because I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you. You have the right to answer the question. So let me ask my question. So what is different per se? Because think about it. You have a history here. You align yourself with APRC, UDP, now
proudly
MPP.
so,
What is
proudly
what
so.
what is different? What is different than what you are doing today than what you've been doing 20, 22 years ago?
Are you ready for my answer?
Yes, go ahead.
The difference is between theory and practice. When I was campaigning for UDP, I'll tell them UDP will do X, Y, Z. Now NPP, I show them there's a hospital in Kiang Jali. For the past 60 years, you've never had it in Kiang. Brand new roads, high class roads, electricity in every nook and Kiang, cranny of Kiang. That this is what you need. You don't need promises. You need deliverables in the here and now. And the people are listening to me because these people love me and trust me. Even a huge chunk of those who are still in UDP, they still have that love and trust and honor for me because they know I love them and I care about them. And when I talk to them, they listen. So it's between theory and practice. The opposition is theory. Barrow is practicing what he is preaching, and the people are feeling it on a daily basis. That's the difference. It's easier to sell practice than theory.
Hey, Musa, go ahead, and I'm gonna log off that.
Can you allow me to just
Bye
ask
bye,
my
and
last
have a
question
good
because
one.
I gotta go, and then you can just
Enjoy the politics.
Because with all due respect, Sabally, either the people that are watching you today, and everybody knows it. So the fact that you are saying theory and practice, we all know that you don't care about those people. Somebody cares about himself. Thank you very much. Thank you.
all
Bye
right.
bye.
Sabally,
Yes.
I'm just going to jump the old man here and ask for because I'm at the plantation. I'm going to go back to this thing. There was something that you said, and it was reported by The Voice. When you describe procurement in the Gambia
Yes.
as the weapon of mass destruction to Gambia's economy.
Mhm.
Now, I'm asking this because you're now occupying, and this is not a caveat, but just to give perspective. You are now occupying a very important role as an advisor to the president. And I don't want to believe that these accusations were just made out of the blue. You must have believed in them to make them. Do you still believe that procurement is a weapon of mass destruction to Gambia's economy? And if so, what tangible advice are you giving the government, particularly the president, to ensure that this problem is solved? Because if you read the article, you've talked about so many issues where it is affecting the development of our country. What are you doing differently to make sure that if it is still the problem, that it is being taken care of?
Coach, again, I'm happy that you are bringing these issues up because look, when I talk about this country, I want the best for this country, regardless of what side of the equation I am in. The opposition has a role to play. They should play it. I played that role when I was in opposition. The government has a role to play. I am there and playing it, but I want the best for this country. Anybody, I'm not talking about the average Joe here, but anybody who really knows the system knows that procurement can make or break the public treasury. And you must have seen a lot of reforms in the era of procurement. Before, there was major tender board, minor tender board, and there was not even this title of procurement officer. So the World Bank came in with some of these new innovations. I remember by 2017, when the government changed in the Gambia, there was a whole magazine with Obama's face on it on procurement issues, because I think this is a global problem. People trying to bring solutions to this. So a cadre was open, procurement officers in different government departments. I think they have a central head, they go under training and everything. But this whole thing is linked to corruption, and corruption is very, very difficult to handle. So, for instance, even when I was in the opposition, when people were talking about per diem and travel and some of these things where a government lose money, allegedly, is small compared to when it comes to some of these major procurement issues. It's such a complex issue, I cannot even get to the bottom of it in one interview. Now, the point is government has to procure because we need goods and services so that the government can deliver to the public. Now, those people coming in to bid for these things, they have their own interests and they have their connections. If you have a small country like the Gambia, where we are all related and all connected, everybody, even the local religious leader and the cultural head and even the musician will call a procurement officer or a permanent secretary or Kisumambokala Dimbaleko. We all know how it works. It becomes very, very difficult to control. Like I said, I think President Barrow and the NPP government has the political will and they are demonstrating it to control corruption and to stop it. But when it comes to procurement, I don't have the magic wand. I don't think anybody has the magic wand. But I think bringing up these issues into the public space so that we discuss it. There are people, I know Gambians who are procurement experts at the level of the World Bank. Perhaps together we can come up with novel solutions in terms of how to reduce leakage and wastage from the public treasury. I don't have the magic wand. I still believe that procurement needs to be better handled, and I believe government has the political will we need to find the solution.
Now, my final question to you, and I wish that because I wish that I had more time to be here with you, but unfortunately, I live in a capitalist country. Another issue that I want to bring up: you called the National Assembly as a crime scene, and that was during the 2023 budget process. And
2023.
yes, this was amid
Right.
the 2023. We're in 2024, dude. 2023, you're still with the UDP. So yeah, until this year. You described the parliament as a crime scene, and you decried the salary increment for the speaker, the deputy speaker, National Assembly members, and all that. And we've seen other issues where Gambians had issue with, let's say, the judiciary bill. The National Assembly also had a bill to add to what they are having. The executive does their thing. Do you still hold that position that the National Assembly is a crime scene when it comes to budgetary allocations, where they are not serving, at least writing a budget, or they don't write the budget, but they vote on it, and they're the only power that can change or do anything to the budget after it is presented before them? Do you think that they are fit for purpose when it comes to the budget and other matters that affect the Gambian people?
Well, Coach, by the way, I'm not sure I ever used that word crime scene. That sounds more like
no, it was in fact put in quotes, and this was reported by the Fatu Network.
That sounds more like Nyangyai speaking than me. But I'll tell you, I'll answer your question. When it comes to the National Assembly and the budget, I mean, I understand the constraints in the budget, but there are certain things that have happened. I didn't agree with those things then. Now I still don't agree. And I think where I really hit the National Assembly was the procurement of their produce. I thought that was wrong. My opinion on that has not changed. In terms of the budget, even before I left UDP, when Syndicated did the midterm review of the budget, of the 2023 budget, I actually did say that they did a good job because expenditure was below projection. By the time he presented the 2024 budget, I was still in UDP. I'm on the record that it was a good budget. That was my position. That is still my position on these issues.
Let me interject and tell you something. When you said that,
yes,
I'm like, he is on his way.
He is on his way. That's what we said.
Well,
because I did not see anything different from that budget to the 2023. But anyway,
I would not blame you, Coach, because you don't understand the budget. It's a complex matter. I swear by Allah. That's no kid's play, man. That's my response to your interjection. I have the right to interject your interjection. Anyway, but let's move on. My point is, the National Assembly, Coach, you can sit for a little while. Let's wrap this up nicely. In terms of some of these targeted quantum jump salary increases, I don't support it. I think the public service as a whole needs to be remunerated better. And I think the system needs to look for ways and means of having a wholesome solution to this low pay that's affecting the Gambian public service than cherry-picking certain arms of government and increasing their pay. This is my opinion on these matters.
All right, Sabally, this is my question. And I just want to caution our viewers. We don't bring guests here to go after them. All we do is ask the questions. They're going to answer it. You make up your mind. So this whole idea, today is Sabally, tomorrow is going to be something else. All we do is ask the questions. This is not us against him. I know we're not going to be. But anyway, Sabally.
Well, done a good job for them and Sariam, so why are they complaining? Just that the defense is stronger than the attack. This is bully in action.
You touting your effectiveness. When you are with the UDP, you were the go-to person. You go after the government. All you did, you were the what they call it, the campaign manager. And what the NPP saw was, you know what? We need to silence these folks. And the best way to do it is to bring this guy and bring him under our purview. Now you are under our payroll. You are getting paid. We're not talking about working for Barrow. You are working for the people. Since you became a political advisor, Sabally, can you tell us specifically what you have done, advice that is impacting the average person in Jaring? Again, can you tell us where are we getting value for money, Mr. Sabally?
Well, I will never ever go into the specifics of what advice I gave the president. I think that would be impudent and irresponsible of me. So excuse me, but I just can't talk about that openly. But I know that anybody who knows the public service and has worked in the public service in the past 10, 15 years knows what value Momodu Sabally has. Musa, forget about what I say and do. The sheer presence of Momodu Sabally in the public service has boosted morale, both in the civilian and, security population.
But how?
No, because you don't know you are in America. And I don't want to fall into the Sariang trap again. You ask me a question, I answer, and you feel it's self-adulation. Just go and ask the real Gambians on the ground what my presence in this government has created in this country.
Okay, let me just follow up, because just recently you were on Coffee Time and you were reacting to a problem. Yes. Earlier, I was talking about the issue about this dispensary, clinic, hospital in the State House. And my issue is the people that are surrounding the president and giving him advice, the messaging was really flawed. And all you guys were doing, reacting after the effect. Have you guys giving it a thought? This particular issue, how involved were you? Did you kind of look at it and say, wait a minute now, how do we put the message out there? Or do you guys just react after the problem?
What I can tell you, I'm acting in advisory capacity, and that is the role I play. Unless I'm asked to act on certain situations, I would not, because I know there are competent people handling those positions. Regarding the particular issue that you are talking about, yes. I mean, I think even the US government sometimes has problems in communication. No system is perfect. But if there is a case of miscommunication and somebody at the high level of the chief of staff comes out to address the issues, I think, this is my opinion, I mean, that conversation could have been more civil than what we saw. My role in it is, I was asked by the chief of staff if I could step in to further clarify this matter, and I clarified it. I don't think there's a big issue in this. I think there was a breakdown in communication. The chief of staff volunteered to give more information. I came in to further clarify. I think, Musa, those who side with government have sided with government. Those who side with the critics side with the critics. It is what it is. I don't see much of an issue in this. Please. That's my position. We had a debate. I don't know who won, but it's for the public to make up their mind.
No, what I'm saying is, if you guys are so good, like you kept reminding us, and that is why, because for me, I believe that you are brought in to silence whatever missiles were coming from the United Democratic Party. And then
not necessarily. I think you are wrong.
Well, I mean, I could be wrong, but since then, that is why I want, Mr. Sabally, that is why I want you to convince me, because now that you are on our payroll and you are getting paid, that is why I'm asking, what are we getting value for money, Mr. Sabally? Not just because people think that Sabally is now in the civil service and oops, everything is up and running. People haven't seen any fundamental changes, how government is run since you joined, become an advisor, that you're just maybe another another one of those advisors, the guy from, I mean, you know, so that's why I'm asking.
Why didn't you say Dusano? Why do you have to say Henry?
So well, I'm trying to find out.
Musa, you see, this is one of the issues that the chief of staff had with Coach, and I was not part of that side of the debate. But I think let's just accord some of these people the respect their offices deserve.
That's
my observation.
You know what? No, Pastor, please. No, you will come, Pastor, please. I don't know whether you are even listening to us earlier, Pasamba and I, and communication matters. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But the point that I am making is, you are the one talking about why you are brought in and the changes that you're making. And now I'm asking specifically, and you're telling me that you cannot address specific issues. And I'm just trying to see, how are we getting value for money for having Sabally being an advisor compared to when you are on the
Okay,
other side. And these
Musa,
advisors were not.
I'll give you a short answer.
Yes.
You know, I know my value. I don't need anybody to tell me the value. Those who are working in the public service, even those working at the IMF and World Bank, who've crossed paths with me, know what value Momodu Sabally has. You understand? So, and I'm not going to get into details as to what I advise for or against. I will not do that. But my question, Musa, how many months have I served in office? Perhaps that will answer your question.
Meaning what?
Exactly what I said. How many months? How long have I been in the
Do you mean
office?
you haven't served enough to be able to?
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you
I think
need more
it's
time.
even unfair
So
to
you
try
need more
to.
time. Now I'm just
Well,
saying,
I
you're
mean,
getting, look, my brother, you're getting paid, you're getting allowances, and as a citizen, I'm
absolutely, and I'm
asking you,
enjoying it. Even
how
at
am I
this
getting?
restaurant, I'm using
How
that money
is
to
it?
buy a drink.
But
I'm
look, I
enjoying
have
it. It's okay.
no, but sorry, I mean, Sabally, I have cousins in Kaur, and I would like to tell them, since we brought Sabally,
So do I.
so how is their life better off, Mr. Sabally?
So the point is, Musa, your cousins in Kaur, just that hope that they have seen Momodu Sabally in, because they've seen Momodu Sabally in action before, and they've seen
Are
how
you
I
serious?
impacted, and this is not a joke.
That's your answer?
They know,
Are you
you don't
serious?
know, but they know. You know what I will do? When you come back on vacation in the Gambia, I'll get you into my car, we'll make a trip to Basse and come back. I swear by Allah, you will then come to understand how the people of this country value me. I will stop at that.
Sabally,
But then again,
I mean,
how many months have I
I
served
want to,
in office? No,
okay,
listen, let me learn.
okay, sorry,
How
sorry.
many months have I served in office for you to be able to evaluate my impact or the lack thereof?
No, that is why I'm
That's my
asking.
last word on that.
But that is why I'm asking. But let's move on. Since you're saying you're a political genius, you were part of the United Democratic Party. I still see the picture when you guys were going nomination, Yangi Gadu Filey. I mean, you were excited. I mean, you guys were telling that, I mean, the UDP is going to win. My brother, you were there. You were part of the team. You couldn't even pull 27. It was 27%, 30%. You have nothing to show for it. So you tell me how a political genius in an election that was crucial, that everybody thought that the United Democratic Party was going to be anywhere close to 40-something%, but you did not deliver, Mr. Sabally. Please tell me.
You should,
Please tell me.
Coach Musa, you should ask that question, should be asked of Talib Bensouda, but you will never
Oh,
ever ask him
excuse
that
me.
question.
No, no, no,
Because
no, no, no.
Talib Ben, no, listen to me. You ask a question, I will answer. Talib Bensouda was in charge of that campaign. He was the national organizing secretary. At the time, I didn't hold any official portfolio, and he knows, and his cabal, what they did to scuttle the ship of the UDP and partly contribute to UDP losing that election. He knows it. Ask him.
So you have nothing to do with it.
Well, I've
That's all
answered your
you're
question.
saying. No, but again, I mean, look,
I
you are
had
the
no
one.
official role or particular portfolio in UDP at the time. I gave it my best, and the UDP knew I gave it my best. Elections are won and lose. Obama lost his first election. It's not that you will win all the time. We did what we could, and that party is still relevant in the country's politics today, thanks to what happened after
So
that loss,
is
how
it
how
possible
we
that there is
resurrected and revived that party when some of the key elements gave up on the party. We did what we could. That's history. But go and ask the national organizing secretary at
no,
the time.
I'm just saying, because there's a lot of hyperbole in terms of being a political genius and going from Banjul to
Well,
Basse.
I actually
And
didn't
that's why.
use that word anyway, because I'm very careful what words I use. You're using that word, I didn't.
Okay, now, Mr. Sabally,
Yes.
going back to 2016, all of us, including you, our aspiration is to bring about fundamental changes.
Yes.
And the Constitution is one change that every Gambian thought that this is the first thing that needs to be done. Somehow, the 2020 draft failed miserably. You were disappointed, I was disappointed. Everybody is putting the blame directly on the doorstep of President Barrow. The 2020 did not pass because of him. People are saying now they went ahead and tinker what they call the Barrow Constitution. You were his advisor. What kind of advice did you guys give him? Because I'm thinking, if I were there, the advice that I'm seeing, if you guys are interested in change, a new constitution, I would consider it bad advice. Where do you stand on this? Do you think the advice to go ahead and amend the 2020, the People's Constitution to this? Do you agree with it? Do you have your reservations? Do you think it will pass? What's your take on it, Mr. Sabally?
Anyway, I've been a critic of this constitutional process from the get-go, and if you go online, there's an open letter that I wrote to the chairman of the CRC because I saw some of the flaws coming on. Fine, I still felt that after spending so much money on that draft, we should move on with it to make sure we birth a new constitution. But that doesn't necessarily mean that what the CRC put in that draft is exactly what should be passed. I don't think so. So if the first attempt fails and you're blaming Barrow, but I know a top opposition parliamentarian who said that the opposition were partly to blame because the negotiations could have been reinforced so that that draft was sent to the committee stage, and then we see what we could do with it. There's a lot of water that went past the bridge. Come this 2024 draft, Cabinet decides that certain things needed to be changed. It is within their right to change it, and I support their act in amending some parts of that draft. What I think should be done now is for that engagement to continue and not the opposition to sit and say it is our way or the highway. I think this process of dialogue should continue so that we come to a compromise for a new constitution. But it doesn't have to be as exactly as the CRC put it. I don't agree with that.
So do you believe that the 2020 draft failed because of President Barrow? Or do you think
No,
that...
I think what happened in the failure of the, like I said, the CRC had their issues. Government wanted to say, government presented a paper. I think their concerns were not factored in. Meanwhile, a lot of the opposition concerns were factored in. What I am saying is that the draft as submitted from the CRC is not perfect, but we should be able to have a dialogue and come to a compromise so that we can have a new constitution.
I agree. I agree. I totally agree. Mr. Sabally, I don't know what a political advisor is. I honest to God do not know. How is your day-to-day, like when you walk into the office?
I'm not a political advisor, Musa.
Yeah, I know. That's why I want a clarification so that we can all understand.
Okay.
Like, I mean, you're getting paid. You have a job to do. And I'm just trying to understand, what is your job?
I'm appointed as special advisor to the president.
Meaning
so
what?
I advise the president.
On every issue?
Well, on issues that I feel he needs advice on.
Like what? For instance, since you joined as a special advisor, since you were given this position as a special advisor, can you tell me specifically some of the issues?
Well, Musa, I told you already that I'm not going to go into the specifics of my job because it's a highly confidential position. But broadly, I can tell you that I've seen some like great things that President Barrow has done, including the road infrastructure, the health infrastructure, the energy infrastructure.
I get that.
Can I land, Musa? You don't get it because you don't know what I'm saying. You don't know.
Why, man? I get that part.
You don't get it because you don't know what I'm going to say. I've not landed.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, sir.
So I go in and reinforce some of those things, that these things should be sustained. Perhaps we should do more in certain areas. Then I look at the shortcomings also, the areas where we are struggling. I come in with advice. We should do this. We should do more of that. We should do more of that. I see areas that perhaps we need to change a little bit, and I give in my 2 cents. And I'm not the only one advising the president. So I hope you get it. But I'm not going into the specifics like you want me to do. No, I can't. I don't think it's even proper.
Okay, I just want to pull a big problem that we were talking about, and that is NAWEC. On a daily basis, I mean, everybody is complaining about NAWEC. I remember years ago, you were with, this was when you were UDP. You were going after Alpha Robinson as if there is no tomorrow. I mean, at every turn.
I have no apologies by you.
No, Maymarek, let me come. My question is not about Alpha. I just want to, because you were engaged, you were involved, that this problem needed to be solved. And Alpha Robinson was the problem. And you kind of pointed out corruptions and favoritism and all of that. Since Alpha left the job, I mean, you pretty much took a hiatus as far as I've never heard you talk about NAWEC. Now, you being a special advisor to the president, do you advise him on NAWEC, what area to go? Do you think what people are saying that getting power from car power ship, getting it from Senelec is a national security threat? What is your take on this whole NAWEC debacle?
Okay, Musa, by the way, we've done more than an hour. Usually I don't spend more than an hour online. So hopefully we'll be wrapping up, perhaps arrange another appearance. So now, I'll answer your question. I criticize Alpha. I have no apologies, no regrets about it. The power situation was dire. I was privy to information that you and others were not privy to. It was based on those facts that I criticized. After Alpha left, there are records on social media. Nani Juara is my personal friend. I have criticized him. His PRO tells me, Linga wah Nani munadula fale, boy amga. I've criticized Nani as well. Coming to the extant situation, of course, I've given my advice on NAWEC. And I just had a conversation with a concerned Gambian just before I came here. I said the NAWEC problem is a chicken and egg problem. When the new government came, power supply was erratic, people were in a haste, and people remember the Defadoi protest. I'm sure you remember that.
Yeah.
Government rushed in to bring in car power. As far as I'm concerned, car power was supposed to be a temporary solution. But people got used to these conveniences. Meanwhile, certain actions that were supposed to be taken, this is information I gathered as a private citizen, not in my privileged position as an advisor. So whilst we are used to this convenience, which is supposed to be temporary, there is work that's supposed to be done to sustain our own ability to generate power. So now we have a new management. This management has to deal with it because, of course, car power and Senelec is not sustainable. We have to reinforce our own domestic capacity to produce power, and I believe the new management is working on that. I think the situation is not ideal, but we cannot just pull the plug off car power or Senelec because we'll be dealing with Dafa Doi plus plus. The NAWEC situation is really complex, and I know NAWEC. I've dealt with NAWEC as former budget director, former Secretary General. The problem is really really complex one. But I believe the current management with the minister who happens to have been a former MD, they are working towards a sustainable solution to this problem, and that's the way out. The current situation, we need to adjust. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We always appreciate you. Definitely, we bring you on this platform, and we will continue to do that. So my final question has something to do with the NPP. I mean, there's a lot of
You
talk,
are obsessed
Sabally.
with our party.
Huh?
You are obsessed with our party.
Oh
You
no,
want to
no, I'm
join?
not. I'm accused of obsessed with every party. They tell me, even my yellow cousin tell me I'm obsessed with UDP. But what I'm saying is, some people are saying that Barrow shouldn't really run in 2026 because, again, the whole 2016 thing was two-term limit 10 years, even though it's not the law of the land, but it needs to be respected. Now there is a talk that not only 2026 or 2031. So there are people saying if Barrow were to step aside, this party will just fall like dominoes. The only person holding it together is Barrow. Without Barrow, all you see is another, all these other parties in yesteryears, whether it's the PPP, whether it's the NCP, Barrow, out of NPP, you guys have your all camps, you guys cannot put it together. What say you with that accusation, or at least the cynics are saying that?
You know, when you're saying that without Barrow, NPP would splinter, I thought you were talking about UDP.
How am I talking about UDP?
No, because people have made similar statements about UDP.
No, but when I get UDP, I ask them that question.
So, I mean, for me, I think Barrow has a natural and constitutional right to run for 2026, and I think he should run. Regarding this situation, of course, the NPP is a new party. So for me, Barrow needs to stay to be building a new party. He needs to stay to make sure this baby goes from crawling onto walking and then running before he steps aside. I'm in for Barrow staying longer.
You guys cannot win without him, it looks like.
Well, Musa, it's quite interesting. But tell me, PDIS without Khalifa Salah, UDP without lawyer Usainu Davo. We also love our borough. Leave him with us, Musa. Since you would join us, just allow us to love our borough and re-elect him. Huh?
So any ambition for Mamadou Sabally? What should we be watching out for? Are we going to be looking out for Mamadou Sabally, the flag bearer of the NPP, or a splinter group of Mamadou Sabally with his own political party? I mean, what do we have to look for in the next 5-10 years, Brother Sabally?
Musa, I've come to a level in my life where certain ambitions are beyond me. I've had a beautiful life, had opportunities to serve my country. My country still seems to need me, and I'm in a position to contribute to an existing government. I want that government to stay. I just want to serve my country, both in my roles as a government official and not. I just held a camp at an eco lodge for more than 50, 60 young people. These are the things that keep me going. I think I don't have any specific ambition in terms of leadership. I've been there, done it, Secretary General, Minister of Presidential Affairs, Special Advisor to the President. Bro, man, can I janguma Gambia? Why? I'm not the only citizen in this country. I'm happy where I am.
But
I'm happy where I am, and the youths are happy, so I'm happy.
The youths are happy, but we definitely thank you.
Looks like the cutoffs are also happy, the way they are smiling in Atlanta, Georgia. my regards to my people at 5 Points, man, underground Atlanta.
Oh, is that right? But we thank you immensely. Coach is back though. Maybe let him ask the last question before you leave.
No, Sabally, what I wanted to ask you, because I don't know what that conversation with you and Musa Deng was all about. Maybe he might have asked this question. Why do you think that this government's communication is so terrible? First, with the hospital that you guys are now downgraded to clinic and moved it all over the country. And secondly, on Thursday, there was a cabinet meeting. The government came out with a statement that they had agreed to the reserve, part of Aboko Nature Reserve, only for the people to protest about it. And then they came back and said, no, that was inaccurate. Why can't they have a simple communication where the Gambians would not be left scratching their head, wondering what is happening? Because like I call it, this is governance by clarification and governance by press releases. What do you think needs to happen so that at least we'll get clarity when it comes to any statement that is coming, especially from the State House?
Well, I would not agree with you that government's communication is so terrible. I would not agree to that.
I don't expect
what I admit is there have been instances where there have been errors, and I know even the White House, sometimes they do have errors and they clarify. And I know for sure that with Dr. Ismail Assise coming in as Information Minister, government's communication has improved profoundly. And I know this government is very open also. I know that government officials are accessible. I think we just need to keep fine-tuning the process of communication. I think Dr. Sise is leading the team in a commendable way. We'll get there, but never expect perfect communication from any existing entity, people by human beings. We admit that there's room for improvement. We'll keep improving, but I think the communication team generally is doing a commendable job.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Dr. Sise. Is it now safe to say that he's no more part of the Kerenkafo?
Doc is our doc, and we will defend him from ground to planet.
So he's not part of the Kerenkafo?
Well, I am not even mentioning that word, So
that word is now out of your lexicon now.
No. What do you expect, Coach? This is the government of his peacefulness, Africa's most peaceful president, leading the continent's happiest nation, the smiling coast of Africa, where the youths are very, very happy.
They are so the youth now they don't have any unemployment problems anymore.
I did not say that. I just said the youths are happy, Coach.
Well, you know what? Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, though. Really.
This conversation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Interestingly, when Musa told me about you coming, and this was before this whole was Brohaha,
The
Yeah,
hospital
so many
palaver.
people were of the view that maybe this had something to do with your hospital that has now been downgraded to a clinic and moved all over the place.
I know people just think that. I've been talking to Sabally a month ago, in fact,
Yeah,
to be
because
extended.
you told me that last week, but he had some engagement and could not come
Yeah,
Yes,
and all that. But it
yeah,
is what
Musa
it is.
had engaged me. I was traveling up country this time too, but this time I wanted to make sure I made so that I drove from Nyamina Jareng last night by this time just to make sure I'm here to fulfill this appointment because I think these conversations are actually necessary and good for the Republic.
absolutely. We thank you again, Mr. Sabally. We'll bring you back, no
thank you,
doubt.
sir. You know,
Thank you for having me.
All right,
all
thank
By
right.
you.
the way, coach, what's the Gambia result? I didn't watch that match to the end. What happened? I understand.
0-0. So we now qualify to the semifinals. We play Sierra
Okay.
Leone.
Okay, good. The youths are happy. Thank you.
Well, you know what? I remember you saying that even the stadium we cannot have for the youth. So maybe that's something. I think the happiness has taken a different shape now. You know.
Why I'm
Anyway,
gonna
coach, you said we have qualified, right?
Yes, we are
I,
supposed to, according to Lamin Jass's post,
so
we are supposed to
so
now
that,
go to the
that
semifinal.
that's a good point to close on, coach. The youths are happy. And I
yeah.
see my
But I'm
patriotic
gonna
brother
take you
Musa
on though.
Musa
When I come to
in the
Gambia,
national jersey.
when I come to Gambia, you're gonna take me to all these hamlets. I wanna see this
I
Sabally,
will.
this Sabally
Wallahi, I
in
wanna
action.
do that.
Musa, I don't think you should be riding in a government fuel vehicle. That should be,
But Musa Jeng has been compromised. He's now
No,
NPP.
Fatu Kamara can give us her SUV. It's air conditioned. We can use that.
also you need the air condition too.
Yeah, Musa would need it, not me, because he's a semester. I'm a local boy.
Anyway,
All right,
guys,
so
thank
he's
you.
so happy, I guess.
Thank you.
All right, man. Pop Samba. I guess
Vamos, let me get
Sungai.
out of here.
No, Sungai. I have to say this. They want us to bring people, and then for whatever reason, they want to make it a duel. I mean, look, if you guys, we're going to invite people. Like, we're going to invite people that you guys disagree with. Speaking of in the people that you agree with, that is not going to work.
No, but Musa, why does that even need to be addressed? We'll
No, it
continue.
does. Because
Right.
in there, no, I'm telling you, I'm going to meet. They come here every Sunday. We always need to
No,
reinforce.
but they know that, Musa, that we've been inviting people of different
We are not
political
going to be just
destiny.
inviting Pasamba Jau and his clique, or Musa Jeng and his clique. We're not going
You
to
don't
do
have a click.
that. We do, I guess.
But anyway, so we're working on a big one next
Yes.
Sunday. Hopefully it will pan out. But with that, don't be surprised if President Barrow comes here though. But anyway, like
We're working on President Barrow. He's going to be at the UN. We're working on Halifa Saleh. He's in England. They had a hell of a meeting, and we're hoping that maybe we'll drag him on this platform and talk about the constitution. But always